But to get ahead these days, it takes more than being book smart. You really need some street smarts as well. That's the idea behind this book, Street Smarts Beyond the Diploma. And the author, Jim Randall, is here with us today. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you.
When we talk about street smarts, what are we talking about here?
Well, Jess, it's this whole basket of sort of savvy and the ability to communicate and network yourself and promote yourself and just sort of worldly, practical, real-world skills that generally aren't taught in schools.
Well, one of the chapters, and I think this is really one of the most important ones, is headlined, Life Isn't Fair.
Right.
Because I think once you get beyond that, then everything is really sky's the limit after that.
Right, you and I agree on that. I think once people understand, hey, some people are going to get breaks, you may not. Okay, that's yesterday's news, now let's move forward. And once you get past that, you can do almost anything.
That's right. It's almost that roadblock is lifted.
Yeah.
And now it's your opportunity to really go, go, go.
But not all young people know that. And again, not taught in school. Somebody ought to stand up in school and say, hey, life isn't fair. Let's talk about it. Let's get through it and let's move on.
All right. Well, let's take a look at some of the ideas that you do have. You say that there are opportunities out there that young people don't really think about and they really need to know about to take advantage of it.
Yeah, another one of the lessons in the book is about interning, and some people call it externing, but learning by doing. We talk about some celebrities actually who went out and in order to break into an area worked for free as an intern. Jim Nance, who's a CBS broadcaster, talked about how he interned for free year after year until he could get a job, and we think that's really important.
That happens a lot in our business.
Yeah.
What can somebody do to really stand out?
Well, self-promotion's a really important topic, but it's hard for most people. Most people aren't good at it. It's instinctively people tend to cover up rather than to promote themselves.
They don't know how to sell themselves.
Yeah, and we talk about, you know, P.T. Barnum, who was the mayor of Bridgeport just down the street, said something often awful happens when there's no promotion, ... nothing. So if you don't learn to speak out for yourself and promote yourself and to market yourself, nothing's going to happen for you.
So what do you need to do first thing?
Well, we talk about in the book about some of the things you can do. You can write a book. You can write a blog. You can do some speaking. You can join an organization where you get more visibility. You can befriend a journalist and tell them your points of view and see if they'll write or cover you. We give about 10 ideas.
Is failure something to fear or something to use? Well,
failure keeps a lot of people in check. Of course, because it's painful, it's humiliating, it's embarrassing, and you can lose money or time. But if you let failure beat you, then you know, it's fait accompli. You're never going to accomplish anything.
Well, I remember when I was first rejected, I think it was like my second job, and I just thought, oh, I'm never going to be able to get a job that I want. But then, you know, you forget about it, and you just get up and go and do it again the next day.
Yeah, there's an expression, a quote we use in the book, that sometimes the difference between the successful person and the unsuccessful person is that the former just got up off the ground one more time than the latter.
That's true. Something I also believe in which you have a full chapter on, is serendipity.
Yeah. We talk about if you're open to happenstance, to circumstance, to serendipity, sometimes amazing discoveries. In the book we talk about how the microwave was an accident. A guy, a scientist, had a chocolate bar in his lab coat, and one day, working with some x-ray equipment, he said, oh my gosh, my chocolate bar is melting. And he brought in some unpopped corn and he put it next to this x-ray equipment and it started popping. And that was the genesis of the microwave, and it's just serendipity that it all happened that way.
But you have to be able to see it and identify it, otherwise you lose that opportunity.
Well, you have to be open-minded to things happen sometimes for a reason, and if you open and expand your mind, serendipity can be a very powerful sort of creative force.
You also talk about a personal board of directors. What's that about?
Well, I think we all get so close to the trees we miss the forest. So I'm talking about having friends, people you trust, to go to on occasion and say, hey, am I on the wrong track here? Am I offline? And hopefully they can redirect you when you are moving in the wrong direction.
I know you talked about how selling is really important in promoting yourself, but you also say it's important to be silent.
Yeah. Sometimes silence is an amazing communicator, and if there was any class that I would initiate in American high schools and colleges, it would be learning how to listen, learning how to watch. If you want to persuade somebody, sell somebody, listen to what they're telling you. Don't talk, listen, watch. You can pick up amazing signals.
And of course, there's networking, networking, networking.
Yes, yes, yes. You can't do enough.
You know,
of it.
that's a skill, I think. You have to know how to do that well.
Well, it's not a skill in the sense of, say, athleticism, that some people are born with and
Right.
others aren't.
Right.
It's a technique you can learn to do. Now, some people are intuitive about it. They just stick their hand out at every, and other people not so. But there are techniques you can learn to make yourself a better networker.
All right, again, the book is Street Smarts Beyond the Diploma.
Right.
And how can you get the book?
Well, it's going to be on Amazon in about a week or so. It's not going to be in bookstores. We're going to sell it through our company, Rand Media in Westport, and eventually in bookstores.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Jim.